beloved Ascension Pioneers, and welcome to another one of my videos. Today in this video, I really wish to once again connect with the topic of divine guidance. I've been speaking a lot about this, and as you know, this is a main part of kind of like my mission here, is to invite people who are ready in this ascension journey to step deeper into divine guidance that comes from our true divine self. So what's happening in this transition period for many people that I'm noticing is that their internal guidance system is shifting. So what's happening is that a lot of individuals are noticing a shift from the psychic energy to pure spirit light. And when we begin to be guided by the spirit light, it comes in a different way. So this is the more natural and the grander part of us, the bigger part of us that's not externally out there. And I explain more about this in my recent article on my webpage, ascensionpioneers.org, and you can see that there. It's called Becoming the Masters. And this is where I want to talk about the fact how we transition in internal guidance once we start mastering ourselves. So when we begin as what I call the ascension beginners, the guidance system is very much related to what people call as our angels, our guardian angels, and speaking to angels, asking angels for assistance, praying to angels, invoking the protection from the angels, working with angelic shields of light, and all of these things. And this is just one beginning start of this journey. This is what I call, like I said, the beginner part, when we feel the guidance comes externally and that our angels are holding our hands as we're moving up there, raising our frequency. Hello, Bumblebee. And we're raising our frequency to become more and more self-empowered. And as we move deeper into spiritual maturity. We become spiritual adults. And we start really intrinsically feel the guidance naturally. And we shift from what we might hear or see or feel in a more like a bodily sense to internal knowing. But what happens there with the further shift is that once we become spiritual masters, we really feel all life as guiding us. There is nothing that would not be divine guidance. It's not that things change externally here, but we have changed so much profoundly that we become the conscious co-creators, masters of our experience. And we understand that there is nothing outside of us that wouldn't actually just show us what is there to master yet and still, because it's an infinite journey. But we've begun a level of really walking in that light. So what we might relate to in the beginning as this external assistance, and we have to know we each have our own guides. But Spirit told me that when you actually become the guide yourself, you don't need other guides. They're still there. Our galactic families are always there to support us. They're always a part of the bigger us that we already are. It's the us with the capital U, it's the bigger version, our multidimensional self, the soul in the realms of the oversoul. And this is where we begin to feel our group. But even then, like I said, we move further on the journey. And when we really start tuning into the ascension light through devotion and becoming masters of this ascension light, we really become all these parts. We embody all these parts. So even then, we don't connect to them in a sense of my group. We are the group. We become the group. We become this consciousness. We perceive it through our soul awareness, and this is when the shift takes place. So for a lot of individuals during this time when the transition is taking place, they're feeling this change and they're no longer feeling supported or guided. And when I'm having sessions with individuals, a lot of times this is what comes up. And the thing is that as Ascension Pioneers, we've already come to this level. We've already come with this heart-based guidance. But when we start embodying the light of our soul, things will shift in our physical journey. As you know, what is internally there is not really a journey. It always is. But the part that is the journey is the part that I call embodiment and integration in this physical level. And once we do that, we transcend this level, and then we choose what to do next with our experience. But we cannot do this before we really master this level and become spiritual co-creators. We really become one with the divine, and there is nothing that we would feel externally outside of ourselves. So what I noticed for myself, and this was such a natural transition that I wasn't even thinking about it when it happened, but when I was explaining this to one of my divine companions in a session, was that with my example, I realized that I no longer invoked the presence or assistance or help of guides or angels or anything like such for a very long time. And this just automatically happened. It's not that I would one day decide, you know what, I'm not going to do this anymore because I wish to fully live for myself, and I am all these parts anyway. It's just when you live your life, and this is how the new is like, it's not that you mentally transition or shift. It just so happens automatically once you're devoted to this process and you just do your inner blossoming and unfolding through the soul integration and embodiment. So what took place was this natural passageway that you, once you're on the other side, one day just like, wait a minute, you know what changed here? Oh, you know, that's what it is, and becomes so intrinsic. It becomes engraved in you, and you literally embody this God, Goddess light within you. And there's nothing outside of you that you wouldn't perceive as, I need guidance right now in this moment. I need more guidance. I need more confirmation. I need more proof. I need all of these things that sometimes when we still have a lot of those questions, we still need. On this level of spiritual mastery, oh, there's a little, what is that? Oh, it's like a tiny lizard there in the roots of the tree. So once we, very cute, and once we really come to this level, is we start perceiving things differently. And we really embody our source vortex. So sometimes people say, I've noticed this in a recent communication. I've recommended something to an individual and they say to me, yeah, but I need to meditate on this first. And I realized, wait a minute, you know, we talk about soul embodied, and once the soul is embodied, you are it. You're not separate from it. It's just one. Your personality is soul-driven. It's no longer ego-driven. So you don't need to think about something or meditate for hours and hours on something, because you're connected to that divine source of feeling. That's that inner knowing, divine knowingness. And you're always connected to it. It's an intrinsic part of you. You become it. You no longer need to be guided into or meditated into, because you become a living meditation yourself. You become a walking pillar of light. And this is our journey. This is where we're going now with the ascension, with the physical ascension and living in the new. And there's a group of us that are holding this space as a first wave, but it's going to happen with everybody who consciously they want to move into this space. And even with some souls that are not yet conscious of it, but somehow they're already naturally doing that inner work. Because with a lot of individuals who maybe they speak about this a lot, and they speak about this living in the new, and they have a lot of knowledge that's maybe more mental. It comes from the perspective that they understand, but maybe they're not embodying it so much. But for some individuals, it might be a very natural and organic process. They don't need to have so much knowledge about it. But it just happens naturally because their soul is ready. And we need to understand this, that when these shifts happen and when we perceive, oh my gosh, I'm no longer guided this way. Why is it? Am I not connected? It's because your parts of you that you perceived once as assisting you, and you still kind of perceive them more outside of you, that you're externally receiving from there as a greater group. They just remove themselves further in the background, but in the bigger scheme of things, they didn't remove themselves. You just merge with these aspects of you more deeply, so you no longer perceive them as separate. So this is the only thing that actually changed. And for all those of you who are transitioning and you feel you're no longer hearing the voices or seeing the visions or all these things, and you're wondering what this is, what is this? It's your shifting, and your soul will never deliver something to you that you would not be ready for, because you're always ready for the next level embodiment, and that's when your soul delivers, and that's when your initiation comes. And these things are only really bringing us the level of divine trust. So in this level, when we really move into self-mastery, there's an intrinsic part that we really need to be aware of that's called divine trust. And without it, we're just going to be full of doubts, and we won't yet fully merge and blend with this experience, because it's just different. We shift, we change. And like I said, it's not that externally something changes, that we might call it on this earth, from our perspective, from our point of view, that these greater galactic parts of us, or galactic guides, you know, especially those of us who are volunteer souls, we have galactic guides. They're not really earth-based guides. So sometimes for us to really be connected, we need to travel, or they need to travel a certain light distances, quote unquote, that it really merge in a way to be guided. But then at a certain level, like I said, we merge with them. We already embody all this knowledge, divine wisdom through our experience. And life. It becomes more physical. Life guides you. Everything is divine. There's not like you wake up, okay, today I need guidance, today I need this, because I'm seeing people are still used to that way. And once we really become the masters, everything is guidance. And we realize that we've just merged with these greater aspects of ourselves and divine guidance that always is. I explain this further in my article, so if you want to really tune into deeper, you can go there to my webpage and you can read the article. But what is really important here is how to move through this shift, to know it, to understand it, because there's a lot of souls who are going through this ascension process for the first time in their soul's evolution and creation. So for them, maybe it takes a while to adjust to this. And this psychic energy that was more dominant in the first metaphysical age, the esoteric ages, maybe that were really dominant in the 70s or 80s and even 90s, this is now moving forward to the realms of the cosmic heart feeling, which is divine knowing, the root of all divine knowing. So all these psychics and mediums and all those, even these individuals, when they feel ready, they will shift to internal knowingness, because this is the only source of light that is pure spirit based, that cannot be manipulated or shifted, because it doesn't flow through these astral levels. So it's completely pure and it's direct. It's coming directly from source. So when I say spirit, and I like to emphasize this a lot, the spirit with a capital S, not us as spirits, like different parts of us in our soul, is that Holy Spirit. So, yeah. And it's just on that level. Everything is really organic, it's really simple, and at the same time it's really profound. And we will know that we're there because we will feel it. Because we will feel it's different. And once the level of divine trust is really integrated, incorporated in your being, when you really merge with those greater parts of you and you feel it, then you will no longer have those doubts, and the level of self-confidence and empowerment will be different, and you'll feel more adjusted into it. You'll feel safer, and you will see that the answers that you might have thought in the past have these that need to be more complex, the answers to your questions, they're going to be more simple now, and you'll be able to embrace a simpler reality, a simpler truth, because the truth of one is actually really simple. It's really organic. So for a lot of people, I see that they have a lot of knowledge, but this knowledge is not always incorporated. It's not always integrated with their experiences, because sometimes when I talk to people, they have a lot of knowing, but it doesn't really help us if we really don't embody it and act heart to heart. And once the heart is fully pure, and this is what Jesus from Nazareth, what he was already teaching, is that this purity really connects you to the realm of the Holy Spirit. And this heart-based, this cosmic heart-based knowledge, which is the Christed heart is even portrayed in the images as such, is the sacred heart that we all have as our Christed heart. And this is the level where we really can read all the energies, feel all things, really, really just know things. And sometimes it's funny, because I'm just very observant. It's just what I do. It's awareness-based purpose. And sometimes I just see people who really talk a lot about things, but then I see by what they're saying, they haven't even learned or mastered how to read basic energy levels. They can't even see a person and read their energy. So these are the levels we need to move into. This is beyond just telepathy. Telepathy is nice, but still, it's kind of like psychic energy. This is pure spirit knowing. And this is what Ascension is all about, to move into that level when you exist as this white column of light in your pure divine knowing, the seed of all creation, and the vortex of source. So during your transition, just take it easy on yourself. And when you have those moments when you feel, I'm not guided anymore, what's happening? I don't feel my group, or I don't feel my guides. Just know that you're shifting within, and that there's always, what happens is for a reason, and everything is always the way it's supposed to be. So if something is changing, make some observations, and sometimes I recommend to people, I actually recommend this to everybody, but especially those true devotees to Ascension, make an Ascension journal, do the beloved diary, or however you may wish to call it. It's really helpful, because it will help you to see, when you write something down, which feelings and which impressions are always changing. So they're always shifting, so they're not a constant. And remember, the truth of one is always constant. It's that when you're rooted, when a part of you is rooted, because a part of you always exists there, There's parts of you that are always shifting and changing and modifying and experiencing and exploring, but there's part of you that's always there in the eternal space of one. So when you write things down, it's really important to notice, for example, let's take a time period of 1 week, and you will see what's shifting and what always stays the same. Okay, so these are the aspects that I wanted to share with you today. I'm noticing this is happening with a lot of individuals now. It's going to be even more intense with the eclipse, with the pair of eclipses that we're now moving into in October. And it's really important when things will come up, because they will, on a greater level. Let's not just panic or go into, oh, why is that happening again? Let's rather ask ourselves, okay, what is there yet to master? What am I still mastering? Because the situations in our life, or the people that are going to reflect something to us, they're going to be repetitive. And what is repetitive is a thing to master, or either to go deeper in our mastery that already is, because it's always going deeper. So either way, might be relationships. Maybe something with how you physically support yourself still triggers you. Maybe sometimes you still panic. Maybe sometimes you still get upset or angry, or any of those things. Allow yourself to feel them. And then just feel how those feelings are already bringing you guidance. Because for a lot of people, when I have sessions with them or I talk to them, they already have all the guidance. They just don't know that this is guidance, because they think guidance is supposed to come a certain way. And once you realize and you start living that organic self, life becomes so much simpler. And you start trusting yourself and your feelings. Because a lot of times the mind just so wants something, but your feelings are already telling you the truth. So this is what it is for now. I hope this segment helped you in a way, and that you enjoy the mountains. It's a beautiful light today, and I'm greeting you from this beautiful space, just surrounded by these majestic mountains. And I'll talk to you again soon. So take care. So much love, wisdom, and power as always. Bye-bye.